Hello everyone, I am Niharika Tiwari from Sociobits and today I am with the founder of Connect Club, Mr. Nikhil Srivastava. Thank you for joining us today, Nikhil.
Thank you, Niharika. It's great to be here.
So Nikhil, could you tell us a little about yourself?
Right, so I'm a final year engineering student and since the past 2.5 years I've been working on Connect Club. So this is my second startup. The first startup was back when I was in class 10th and that was a video game console renting platform. Right, so I had one video game console extra with me. I used to rent it out to people and it was going well. But the difficulty that I was facing with that idea was I did not know how to escalate it. So being a 10th standard student, I had no idea what an incubator was, what an investor was, and coming from a service class family, there was no one to guide me on how to convert an idea or convert a business into a proper full-fledged startup. So that's where I found a mismatch in this industry, and I thought that the startup ecosystem is a very disconnected market where it is difficult for people to network with each other. So when I got into my first year of engineering, I once again had that thought that let's do something of my own. So that's when I came up with Connect Club. So that was the start of Connect Club.
So Nikhil, when you pitched the idea of creating something like Connect Club to your friends and family members, what was their initial reaction?
So initially I got a mixed reaction from the friend side, but my family has always been supportive for this. My parents just said that जो करना है करो, we have full support with you. We know that you will be able to do well whatever you are doing that way. So my father in fact helped me financially with this project as well. उनका काफ़ी सपोर्ट था जो हूँ आज फैमिली की वजह से हूँ और मेरे फ्रेंड्स my friends even so there is a set of friends who were very supportive, were very nice to me, and those people even joined Connect Club as a co-founding team members, and आज जैसा भी Connect Club है उन्हीं की बदौलत है.
That's great. So basically what is Connect Club about?
So Connect Club is a networking platform for the startup ecosystem where we bring investors, incubators, VCs, accelerator, incubator from all across the globe on one networking platform. Here like-minded people can get connected with each other, they can share their thoughts, take video calls, meetings. So it's basically a full-fledged networking platform but exclusive for the startup ecosystem.
Okay. So it's similar to like a social media platform just for startups, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So when did you found Connect Club?
So I started Connect Club in April 2019. That's when the journey began while I was in the second year.
Okay. And how has your journey been so far? Did you face any challenges in particular?
I mean, yeah, challenges is something that is faced by every startup during their journey, and I also had challenges of my own. But yeah, I got good support from my friends, family, and everyone, so they helped me get over these challenges and they helped me smoothen out my journey.
Right. So, do you have any competitors right now? Anyone similar to Connect Club?
See, if you take it back, many people have tried to get investors and startups connected with each other. There have been multiple companies who are still doing it. But once it comes to the networking aspect into the startup ecosystem, we are one of the first few companies who are doing something like that.
And why do you think startups and investors would choose something like Connect Club?
See, if you look at the startup ecosystem, it's a huge market, right? And seeing India itself, almost 1,000 startups are emerging in India every day. And particularly in India, if you see startups are not only coming from metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, but they're also coming from interior parts of India, like tier 2, tier 3 cities. And these startups do not get the same access as what we privileged startups get that are emerging from metropolitan cities. We have the access to go to networking events where it is easier for us to meet investors and other startups and incubators, right? So I am trying to develop a platform where no matter where you're emerging from, you get the same access. So even if you're a startup that is emerging from tier 2, tier 3 cities, being on the same platform where the investors are there from good cities, you can easily connect with them. If they are adding any posts, you'll be able to see them, you can chat with them, take your video calls with them. So to increase the networking, because your network is your net worth.
Okay.
And by coming on Connect Club, you're increasing your net worth.
That's great. So since you mentioned that you started in 2019, did COVID-19 have an impact on your startup in any way?
Right, so if you see COVID, so it in a way it actually helped us because when COVID happened, most of the networking events that were happening, even in the metropolitan city, they had a halt or they had converted to an online format. And because of which the limited amount of networking that was happening in the startup ecosystem, even that it paused. So that is the reason why people started looking more towards our platform. Though when the COVID was going on, we were still at a prototype and early stage, but then we started seeing a good response from the limited amount of customers we had.
Okay. And what do you have planned for the future? Do you have any immediate goals set to be achieved in this year?
Right, so I just want to be a dominating networking platform into the startup ecosystem, and my goal is to have a networking platform emerging from India that could be escalated to a global scale. Currently, most of the networking sites that exist, be it Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, anyone, all of them are from a foreign country. So none of the Indian sites, or very limited Indian sites, are there that have a global presence. Right, so I want to have an original networking platform from a global presence. And my goal for 5 years is that I want Connect Club to grow to a level where after 5 years, if someone says that I have a startup, the opposite person's first question should be, okay, what's a Connect Club link?
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds interesting. So thank you so much for joining us, Nikhil.
Thank you, Niharika. It was a great time speaking with you.
Thank you.